John C. Breckinridge served as Vice President of the United States from 1857 to 1861 under President James Buchanan. His tenure coincided with a deeply divided nation where tensions over slavery were escalating. These divisions led to the brink of the Civil War. During his vice presidency, Breckinridge was part of a government grappling with the slavery debate, which split the country into pro-slavery southern states and anti-slavery northern states. His support for the South's pro-slavery stance and his silence on the growing sectional conflict added to the nation's instability. Breckinridge's role in this divisive time affected families, particularly in the South, as tensions led to violent confrontations and ultimately the Civil War. Lives were lost as the country split over slavery and states' rights. Breckinridge didn't actively work to quell the growing conflict. After leaving office, he joined the Confederacy, further deepening the divide. The Civil War Henry A. Wallace served as Vice President of the United States from 1941 to 1945 under President Franklin D. Roosevelt during World War II. His term was set against the backdrop of the global conflict, which had a significant impact on both domestic and international affairs. Wallace was in office during a pivotal time in history, with World War II shaping U.S. foreign policy and military strategy. As vice president, Wallace supported Roosevelt's New Deal policies and was an advocate for post-war international cooperation. He traveled extensively, strengthening alliances and contributing to U.S. diplomacy during the war. While Wallace himself did not directly impact human loss, the war brought massive sacrifices. Millions of soldiers and civilians perished globally, and the U.S. faced economic strain. Wallace's leadership was integral to the broader wartime effort, aimed at ending Nazi and Imperial Japanese aggression. Wallace pushed for significant government action, including mobilizing the U.S. economy for wartime production and strengthening international relationships. His policies helped support the U.S. role in the Allied victory. After the war, Wallace's post-war policies influenced the shaping of the Cold War, though his political career was affected by internal tensions in the U.S. government. Wallace's work highlights the importance of diplomacy. Spiro T. Agnew served as Vice President of the United States from 1969 to 1973 under President Richard Nixon. His term occurred during a period of political upheaval and social change in the U.S., especially in the context of the Vietnam War and civil rights movements. Agnew's time in office was marked by his vocal attacks on the media and political opponents, which earned him a reputation as a staunch conservative. Agnew's political career took a sharp turn when it was revealed that he had been involved in a bribery scandal related to his time as governor of Maryland. The charges involved accepting kickbacks from contractors while in office, leading to a formal investigation and his eventual resignation in 1973. This event dramatically impacted his political standing and, to a broader extent, American trust in its government officials. The immediate response to Agnew's resignation was a sense of betrayal among his supporters, while others saw it as necessary for the integrity of the government. In the aftermath, Agnew's resignation was one of the key events that led to President Nixon's eventual downfall during the Watergate scandal. Agnew's scandal underscored the importance of transparency and ethics in government, reinforcing the need for accountability among elected officials. Kamala Harris became the Vice President of the United States in 2021, making history as the first woman, first black woman, and first person of South Asian descent to hold the office. Her election took place in the wake of a highly contentious and polarized political climate, marked by the aftermath of the 2020 presidential election and the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Upon taking office, Harris faced significant challenges, including the continued effects of the pandemic, economic recovery, and racial justice movements. As vice president, she worked closely with President Joe Biden on efforts to address these issues, particularly focusing on the relief efforts for COVID-19, promoting vaccination campaigns, and advocating for policies to address systemic inequality in America. The human impact of her vice presidency has been monumental for many communities, as Harris serves as a role model for women and marginalized groups. Her historic election broke long-standing barriers and has inspired a new generation of political leaders. The immediate response to her election was mixed, with both celebration and scrutiny. However, her role in shaping policies and representing diverse voices has been crucial in the years following her election. In the aftermath, Aaron Burr served as the third Vice President of the United States from 1801 to 1805 under President Thomas Jefferson. His time in office was marked by political and personal controversies that would come to define his legacy. One of the most infamous events during his vice presidency was the 1804 duel with Alexander Hamilton, which resulted in Hamilton's death and severely tarnished Burr's reputation. The duel stemmed from long-standing political and personal animosity between the two men. Burr, who had served as a senator from New York before becoming vice president, had ambitions to run for governor of New York. When Hamilton, a key political figure, opposed Burr's candidacy, the tensions reached a breaking point. After Hamilton allegedly insulted him, Burr challenged him to a duel. The fatal confrontation led to Burr's political downfall, as many viewed the duel as a reckless and dishonorable act. Burr's immediate response to the duel was to flee to the South to avoid prosecution, and his career never recovered. After his vice presidency, he became involved in a conspiracy to create an independent nation in the West, leading to his trial for treason. Burr's story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of personal vendettas influencing political decisions and the long-lasting consequences of violence. John Nance Garner served as the 32nd Vice President of the United States from 1933 to 1941 under President Franklin D. Roosevelt. His time in office coincided with the Great Depression and the early years of Roosevelt's New Deal, which aimed to alleviate the economic hardships facing the nation. Garner, a seasoned politician from Texas, played a key role in helping to pass New Deal legislation, working closely with Roosevelt to secure support in Congress. However, his relationship with Roosevelt began to sour as Garner became increasingly disillusioned with the direction of the New Deal. Garner believed that Roosevelt's policies were too radical and that the federal government was expanding too much. This difference in vision eventually led to Garner's decision not to seek re-election as vice president in 1940. The human impact of Garner's leadership was seen in the relief efforts during the Depression, as his work helped secure jobs and social security programs for millions. His policies, however, were contentious, with some viewing them as insufficient to solve the economic crisis. In the aftermath, Garner's departure from the vice presidency marked the end of an era. His legacy highlights the tension between political compromise and ideological purity, shaping future political discourse in America.